Hi guys, my name is Jasmine, better known as Jasper. In this new world that we are in, I wanted to get on here and chat about some things that I'm feeling, just to put it out there to see if you are feeling similar things. Um, and in no way am I sitting here being like, you know, being predictive or like this is what I'm vibing off of everybody. No, this is just stuff I'm feeling. It's valid because I'm feeling it, but maybe you're feeling it too. Maybe not. Maybe you have been. Maybe it's no news to you. Some things, I've really been thinking about what I do in the mundane, like the checklist, the routine, thinking about how my day gets filled in a pie chart, right? Okay. And what part of that chart is sort of a filler? Something where I'm just filling in because I don't know what it means to not do that or what it looks like to just be in a spot where you don't have to do anything or get anything done or be anywhere or buy anything or whatever. Like, what does that look like? So sometimes that is so weird, like, because I don't know what that looks like, that I find, and I've been noticing that I'll fill my day in with things that don't really need to happen. But for me, it's like an automatic because I don't want to not do it and face this right here. Just kind of like, I'm not doing anything. I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to buy anything. Okay, what do you do? It's like that question used to suck. Like years ago, people would ask you at a party or on the train, like, what do you do? And it would always kind of leave me feeling sort of empty, but I understood why people asked because they don't really know what else to ask, right? It would be kind of crazy to go up to someone and be like, who are you? But I think that's a lot cooler than being like, what do you do for a living? What do you do so that you can go home, watch TV, go to the bathroom, and live for the weekend? What do you do? And there's just something very depressing about that. But, anyways, that question has changed because now the implication is sort of like, not what do you do for a living, but how do you live for what it is you do? And not just what it is you do for work, what it is that you do. Like, what do people do? That is like my biggest question when I'm driving around in the car on like a Saturday at 4. I'm like looking at people in their cars, like, what do you do? Like, not for a living. We know what this implies now. But what do you do to fill your day? What is in your day that has meaning? Or how are these people staying busy or occupied or stimulated? Like, what are you doing? So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And then going back to the whole routine thing and the filler, right? It's kind of relates. So I've just been trying to sort of shed these activities that I choose that are sort of just fillers for time where I could just be doing this, which is pretty scary and unknown and weird, where I'm just doing nothing and being nothing and requiring nothing and buying nothing. In looking at my own personal pie chart where I fill up my day is with dumb trips to a store where it's like, I don't really need paper towels right now, but I might need them soon. So I'm going to just buy. I'm being like this gross consumer in a sense, right? Or I'll go to Whole Foods when I have food, you know? So what is that? And I think it's a little rub off of sort of the scarcity energy that's been flowing around in the world, obviously. And also my own. I'll take ownership for just feeling maybe not safe or not secure in a time that sort of feels like everything is changing, which is awesome and much needed, but it's a little destabilizing, right? So that consumerism sort of gives you this like safety and feeling of purpose or control, at least for me when I'm looking at it. And I don't like admitting this at all. I don't want to be like this, but it's sort of something I've always, I guess, done, what I'm realizing, or what I've been programmed to do. So looking at that, that's a big filler of my time, going to run these errands that aren't really that urgent. It's not like I have one, cucumber in my fridge. I really need food. No, it's like I'm fine, but I'm just going because I don't know what else to do. Another filler that I do is sometimes I'll go for walks. And don't get me wrong, sometimes walks are a really good reset for the mind. Sometimes moving our physical body can sort of reset the mind. But believe me, if it was up to me, I'd be moving my physical body all 24 hours of the day, but we can't do that, right? Because it feels really good and it really does reset the mind. But I can't be doing that 24 hours a day, right? And my job is very physical. And then I also do workout myself. So it's like, that's a lot. And don't get me wrong, sometimes the walks are great, but it's definitely a filler. And I've noticed I don't know what to do on a Friday afternoon after I'm done working. So well, I guess I'll just go for a walk. And I think part of it too is that I just want to be out of my house and just in nature. But you got to be careful because it can be done too much, right? Where it's just a filler and it's sort of that safety net of, well, I don't have to face that weird moment where I'm in my room and I'm like, what am I doing? So am I avoiding that? And don't get me wrong, sometimes on the walks, I'm looking at that too. So it depends. Another filler is definitely the phone. I mean, I don't look at the news and I haven't for more than probably my whole life. I've actually never really read the news or looked at the news ever actually in my whole life. I always get news late from people. If there's something I should know though, I know that it'll get to me. But just being on the phone researching like, I don't know, like things that I'm interested in, like astrology or healing modalities, ways to eat, food, online shopping. I mean, you just get caught in this whole like, ugh. And then you're constantly getting emails of like deals and look at this. And oh my gosh, you need to get this now because you might need it. It's that thing again, where it's like, you might want to get this top now because you might want it or need it. And it's like, whoa, what is that? I mean, we all know we're being controlled by this stuff. That's no news. But it is amazing how, like, the power it has behind. It's taken me for sure. And it is definitely a filler and a nice security blanket. So that's there. I also fill my time a lot with thoughts about food and health. I have a past of, and current of, body dysmorphia, disordered eating, that kind of thing. And so I can really spend some time there getting sort of obsessed with like, what's the newest health craze? What should I be eating to feel better? Like that whole thing. And what I've realized is, yes, education of health and wellness is amazing, but the hardest thing now is that you could eat anything and follow any sort of diet or way of lifestyle of eating and working out, but it's not going to work. And I'm not trying to be negative, because now we're being asked to be that source for ourselves. So it's like, instead of following, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a celebrity, any celebrity and what she does for her diet and exercise, instead of following what she does, because you guys are so different. You have different chemistry, you have different everything, different thoughts, different everything. So instead of following what she does, we're now being like, you need to experiment with your own lifestyle brand and diet and exercise routine for you. And that's harder to do because you have to figure it out, trial and error, right? It's not like I'm just, oh, I'm vegan and I'm just following this like vegan meal plan. It's like, well, I kind of am plant-based, but I also do like this. That's what it's about now, is sort of creating your own way. But the part of that is that you have to figure that out. So a lot of the times where I fill my day is trying to figure out the way via other people, other sources, when really what I'm realizing is I have to be the healer for myself. I can't just ask this oracle chick who's like super healthy and lives on fruit. It's not necessarily going to work for me. And unfortunately, it might not work with this other chick and what she does either. I'm going to have to figure it out for me. So that sort of dependence on like, what should we eat? What should we work out? How do we heal? Being, even dependent on healers or counselors or therapists. Like, I have nothing against it, obviously. But just being really cautious as to like the frequency in which you're kind of relying on these people who probably mostly have your best intentions and really are helpful. But I think what you have to realize is that it's really you that's going to be the most helpful. And that's really, really tough and isolating feeling and scary and unknown. And like, because it's like, I trust, this healer chick more than I trust myself. But really, that's what we're asking to be flipped, is that like, you got to trust yourself more than anyone. Whoa. And other people are there for sure, like for outsourcing, for like helping you, supporting you, giving you, of course we need other people, healers. We need help too, but ultimately you're the one. So that's a filler for me. A huge filler is like, how do I feel better? How do I feel? What should I eat for better digestion? Like this obsession with health. And what I figured out is nothing is changing, because nothing's changing in here because I haven't figured out my way, or I have, but I don't believe in it. So I think those are my main messages for now, or my main feelings. Another feeling is sort of this desire to just want to like express, not even vocally, not even like throat chakra wise, not even like really artistically. It's like another way of expression. I don't even know what the words are for it, but there's this like, almost like, feels like cortisol in my body. It's like a stress where it's like, I gotta figure it out. I gotta be something, say something, but that's not what it is. But you know what I mean? I gotta like rush, or I gotta take action, I guess. Action. I gotta action. In a different sense of like, I gotta go to the grocery. I gotta do something no, it's different. It's like a big action. It's like a next dimension action, but it's like really frustrating because it's scary. It's highly energized, stressful, anxiety ridden, but you don't know what to do with it. And then I don't know, by the end of the night, I'm just like wiped out by that whole feeling throughout the day of like, I gotta figure something out. I gotta change my life. I gotta flip something upside down. I gotta like do it right now. Like this need to do, like so I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it, but that feels pretty wild and crazy. And I call that, or when that's been happening for me, I call it the witching hours. And it's not in the middle of the night, thank goodness. The witching hours for me are from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That window, because I'm usually not working at that time. I work really early in the morning or really late at night, right? So that window of time gets real funky with that wanting to action thought that I'm talking about. Not action like what I talked about earlier, like go to the grocery or buy something or do something or be busy with a friend or something. No, not that. It's like an action that's like up there, right? Like I'm about to change my life. I'm about to shift, right? And I got to do it now and I don't know what to do. That stress hits me from about 12 to 6. And then by 6 p.m., I kind of come down from it after meditation, which maybe I should take a hint and just do meditation all day. But like I said, I would love to be an athlete and work out 24 hours a day because I know I feel best sometimes when I'm moving my body, right? But we can't be doing that all day. Just like we can't also be sitting and meditating all day. I mean, you could, but like we still have this sort of 3D world that we have to live in. Like you have to, you know, get your food somehow and you have to wake up and maybe go to work, you know? So to a certain degree, we can't just sit and meditate all day. But I usually feel better once I have, like the come down from that anxiousness gets better after. Sometimes though, the meditation will amp it up too. And right now I'm just trying to trust that those feelings are something that I have to be feeling, that I don't have to do anything with them. I don't have to be anxious in action with anything there. I don't have to figure anything out. I don't need to, you know, get help necessarily, you know. I can just sit with that and just kind of let it go through me, and eventually trust that that's going to be replaced with an idea or a very specific change or action or surrender to take, right? Anyways, I hope you guys are well, and just know that you are not the only one sometimes feeling sort of twilight zoney in this mundane but not world. And you are very loved. Take care.